I have no friends in this band. I hate my bandmates. How do I deal with it? See these gray hairs?
Mama's little baby, well, it went to bed and never did wake up. It was prayed over hard, loved by all, but he never did wake up.
Being so close with each other in the band, I think that you can't help avoid personal things. We're so close. Real life is very real in our band.
Seen you out in the stratosphere, I'll pick you up at your home. The boys are getting nervous round here now that I've left them all alone. We hang out in the parking lot. You pass that thing by. There's nothing that beats brotherly love. When you're beaten and you're scared, God knows why I even cared that you weren't with me there. Well, I've done all my fighting already. Wanna go where I can be free.
We had this jam in a big old warehouse. Pip's brother Dave. Had this great big space, and it was above Eastern Butcher Block and down in Providence. And we had originally planned to do a photo shoot, and we brought down a photographer and a few friends, and we set up and just played a whole bunch of tunes. And there was just something about being in that room that we all just felt this sort of magic that just sort of ignited just this like barrage of tunes and ideas, and we'd be playing songs for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I recorded pretty much everything on a little voice recorder, which is pretty much how we documented everything that we wrote this time around. We got some great photographs, we got some even greater tunes.
I think the band will probably do more of those sorts of things in the future, where we try to write outside of our element. We're so focused on our day-to-day activities, and even being, in our normal practice space, which is great, it's also the same place that we play all the time.
Daddy's a great keyboard player. Yes, he showed me his guitar last night.
We did the album at Appleman Studios, and that is Chris Cugini's creation. And basically the entire house becomes a recording studio. Furniture gets moved around, cables are snaked all over the house, cats are running around. It's a great place to record.
Well, it's different from a recording studio, definitely. It's, you're usually more enclosed in a recording studio, and you get the phone, and you're usually in a booth, and here you're in a big room, and you're in this, it's actually pretty interesting because the room is so different shapes and everything in it, and you're in like this enormous cavern kind of thing. You can't maybe get a quote-unquote typical drum sound I know the drums that I used to record this record, and I bring them in a recording studio, you can get a very typical drum sound out of them quite easily. But it's more interesting sounding doing it here.
Last song I heard was a lullaby. Last song I heard was a lullaby, and it put me right to sleep. Yeah, it put me right to sleep. I went to sleep and had a beautiful dream. Went to sleep and had a beautiful dream. But when I woke up, I was screaming.
Not to knock any professional studios, because they sound great and they're very convenient and everything is set up, but they can tend to sound the same, and we don't like to sound the same. We like things to sound different. Very proud of the record in the sense that it does sound like it was done at home, and some great records like Exile on Main Street were recorded in houses, and I think more and more with technology today, you don't need to bring a big 48-channel mixer into a house. You can literally bring a computer, microphones, and a bunch of other little things that you can fit into crates, and you can do it pretty much anywhere.
This record, in my mind, could have easily been recorded in a multi-million-dollar studio. I mean, you cannot hear a difference between these songs and a multi-million-dollar studio song. So it just proves that with imagination, with creativity, trusting your gut, an intuitive sense of the space and of the sounds, that you can put something together on your own. And these guys proved it on this.
We had a lot of great guest musicians play on this album. We had great horn section who, I think for the most part, they play in Eli Paperboy Reed's band. It was Patrick Moody on trumpet, Paul Jones on sax, and Ben Jaffe on sax as well. Matt Everett, brother of Pip, played some cello. We had Phil Aiken, who used to be in the Blizzard 78. He played some keyboards and some orchestral treatments. We also had Dave Aronoff and Fran Betleoin sing some background vocals. And we had Chris's wife Liz and Brian's wife Michelle sing some backing vocals.
You just have high hopes for every song. You have such high hopes, and you remember the moment when the song was written and how jazzed you were off of writing it at that moment, and how excited you were, and you just said, you play it 5 times in a row, and then you play other songs, and then you close the practice by playing it again. So sometimes you'll write a song and play it 7 times in a night, and it'll jazz you every single time. And you'll go home and tell your girlfriend, man, we wrote the craziest song tonight, and I can't wait to play it for you in 2 years.
There's a song in the West that shines like the sun off your drum sets. There's a bird in the east that beats like a heart, and it feels like cold water dripping from a leaf. There's no telling what you find till it just up and